I'm Shannon.
I'm a mom who loves baking, podcasting, and theater.
And I've been a professional artist in the theatrical industry for over 20 years.
It is our job to make your next party be a success.
And so I came up with this recipe called Beam Me Up Scotty, hence our lovely outfits today. So tonight's dessert is, again, Beam Me Up Scotty. We're going to be doing a really simple recipe. We're going to do it very simple. It's devil's food cake, pre-mixed. Pillsbury had probably the better one. So here you go, Amy. Okay. You're going to be mixing. Okay. So this recipe is based off of Jim Beam, for Beam Me Up Scotty, Beam and Coke. So we're going to be using, the only thing we're going to be adding to this chocolate cake recipe is 1 can of Coke. And
that's it?
Yep, that's it. No eggs, no oil, no butter, just the 1 can of Coke.
Do you want the Coke at a specific temperature?
Room temp is always best when it comes to these things. So as you
just poured it?
The whole can.
Okay.
Yep, and we already have the oven set.
Yep.
And we're going to be making little mini cupcakes this time. And we're not going to be doing any inserts or anything like that with these ones. We're just going to start with the Coke and chocolate. One key thing is that it does have to be regular Coca-Cola. It can't be any of the other variations like Coke Zero. That won't work. It has to be fully loaded.
Give us the sugar and the caramel.
And the caramel and everything, because it makes it quite delicious. Okay. And when I made this in the test kitchen, these stayed moist for like a week and a half. I was shocked. I was like, what is in Coca-Cola?
I don't think you should eat cupcakes after a week and a half. How did you get them to last that long?
I just left them in I had them in a container with the lid, but not tight.
We're just like NASA, doing our own experiments.
Yes, we have been doing a lot of experiments. A lot of experiments lately.
Okay.
So I want to just, as you start to scoop this, here, I'll get this out of your way.
Oh, I got it.
Okay. So when I was researching this one, I was wondering what is the difference between all of the different whiskeys and bourbons, and I fell down that lovely rabbit hole. And Jim Beam is the #1 selling bourbon in the world.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, really? I don't even, it's not my preferred flavor.
It's
so strong.
I'm more of a light girl myself.
Yeah, you're more of a Jack Daniels kind of girl.
I am. Yeah. I am.
Which, okay, here's a clear thing. Jim Beam is bourbon, whereas Jack Daniels is whiskey.
Okay. Is there a difference between whiskey and bourbon? I've never known.
Because all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, according to Jim Beam's website, which is what I researched this on, is that this government has strict guidelines on what constitutes a bourbon. Okay. Whiskey is not as regulated as bourbon, and so the main reason is that, for the United States at least, bourbon has to be distilled here, and it has to be from at least 51% corn mash for the fermentation process. It can be no more than 160 proof.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's really strong for all of you non-drinkers out there. That's a zipper.
Yeah, that's really strong. And then it has to be stored at no more than 125 proof in new charred oak barrels. And it has to be aged for a minimum of 2 years. Now this is key for Jim Beam.
There's a lot of rules.
Yeah, who knew, right? And it also has to be free from additives, which I found fascinating because...
So you didn't add anything for the color?
There's no caramel coloring. There's nothing added. There's nothing to change the flavor. This is purely what comes out of the distillation process. So with Jim Beam, there's an additional standard, which is that it actually has to be distilled in Kentucky. Now, the reason Kentucky is specific and why this makes this the #1 selling bourbon in the world is because Kentucky's climate is warm. Okay. So the actual fermentation process, the aging process, is almost like accelerated because of that warm climate. Compared to, say, Scotland or Ireland or Japan.
Right, where you've got a winter.
Right, so where there's winter, their aging process slows down. Whereas in Kentucky, it almost speeds up because of that warm climate year round.
So you can get like twice the aging.
It's almost twice the aging, right, in the barrels, and so it has a stronger flavor, it's a little more potent.
It's definitely potent.
It's definitely so potent that I would never suggest adding this to the batter or doing an insert of just like we've done on some of the other episodes where we inject the alcohol into the cooked cupcake. It's so strong that it's
just
too much.
Overpowers.
Even people who love Jim Beam are like, oh, that's just way too much because it's overpowers the chocolate.
Okay.
And the chocolate isn't strong enough. Which is surprising.
It's surprising because chocolate and Coke can cover a lot.
Yeah, but not this.
Okay.
Maybe if it was a weaker bourbon, but the whole point of this one is that it's called Beam Me Up Scotty.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's where, so we're sticking to Beam. We will use it later, but for right now we're going to finish filling the cups. We're going to throw these guys in the oven, and then we'll be back.
We'll be back with cooked cupcakes. Yay!
Rock on.
Welcome back! We've got our
We flew away for a little while and then we landed again.
We've got our cupcakes. They're all done and plated, nice and cool. These ones did sink down a little bit, but we did rapidly cool them so that we could bring you back to the fun.
Exactly. And we have softened butter that we cut into like little cubes, and I've already started to pre-cream this.
Yeah, so we are using 2 sticks of butter because today Shannon learns to frost. So
with the piping bag. I know how to do it like a real messy, kind of throw it on there, but
we're going to show her how to make a pretty cupcake top.
Right.
So now this, it ends up being for a typical buttercream here. It's going to end up being about half the bag probably. We'll add a little bit of liquid for our flavor, and you know what? Do you want to pass that over to me, and you add in what you want for alcohol?
So we're gonna sticking with the Beam Me Up Scotty. We are gonna start showing. Do you think starting with the alcohol first, or the Coke?
What do you want the flavor to be stronger?
The Coke, because the Beam is such a strong flavor.
Okay, start with the Coke. And you're probably, when you're making frostings, we typically only use about a teaspoon to a couple of tablespoons of liquid max. So
I did about maybe
you probably did about 2 teaspoons. I would say, So, and now it's starting to be pretty liquidy. So.
Right. And it's going to become a really ugly color, and we kind of anticipated that because Coke being caramel colored, this is caramel colored. We're pretty much expecting this to be a really
It's going to look like taupe.
Yeah, taupe.
Nobody wants taupe frosting.
Nope, no, they don't.
Okay, I'm going to add a little bit. You can add in the Beam, and I'm going to add a little bit more sugar, and then we'll get that together, and I think we'll be about at the right consistency. So, oh boy, that's a generous.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm pretty sure there was about a tablespoon or, like a shot of that in there. So.
Well, I guess I was thinking about the next step, which is our normal thing.
Gotta make a drink.
Gotta make a drink, and I know. And we even have space-themed glassware.
Yeah. So, gotta love, I believe in educating at dinner as well. So, we have fun stuff on the glasses. I know this one tells me all of the planets and their moons. So.
Such a nerd, I love it. Nerd love,
Space nerd, yay! Ooh, Coke with a kick. So.
Oh yeah, that's definitely,
okay.
Kick going there.
This is still a little bit on the running side. Okay. So. There we go.
And then when do we add, we're going to color it because we knew it was going to be an ugly color. So when do we add, and you want to tell them about what this is?
This is a gel food coloring. So you want to be sure you've got it to the flavor and consistency that you want. Whoop. Okay, you got it back in the bowl. There you go.
Yep.
And I just forgot to grab a knife. So I usually just take a little bit. Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, cool.
So
are we going to use the mixer to mix it? Or
Okay. Why not?
I don't know these things. Why ask her?
Do you have a desire to hand mix?
No, not really.
So yeah, just a little smidge there, and it's very bright blue. So I've got these 2 bags ready to go. I've got frosting just at the edge there. Okay, so you're gonna take a plate.
Okay.
And I will take a plate.
Okay.
Grab your bag. Okay, so what you do is you grab the bag so your thumb is holding on to your twist, right? And then this is your main power squeeze here. Like this one can control too.
My main power squeeze.
right.
I'm single. I can use one of those.
These are your thruster engines, all right?
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. These are mini cupcakes, so I'm going to frost them a little bit differently than I would do a big cupcake. So I'm just going to pick one edge and swirl, and you push in and pull up.
There needs to be a sound effect for this.
Oh, okay.
Isn't there a boop?
It's a boop.
See, it sounds like we're taking off.
Here we go.
Boop.
There you go.
Rock
See?
it, look at that. Look at that.
You're
Okay.
like a pro already. So
Well, we do have some larger ones. You want to
We
show
do.
what the technique would be on a larger one?
Sure, let me grab one of those. So
Sounds like I'm taking off in my spaceship.
for the larger ones, you just need to give a little frosting to build on. So here we're gonna do a little whoop in the middle. Then we're gonna start around, go around, and then build up, and then down.
Oh, I always
So
wondered how
that's how
we did
you
that.
get
Build
it
up like
to
that.
build up a
Okay.
bit.
But since these guys are so little, we don't need that.
No,
extra.
you don't need that. Mm-mm.
All right, for taste test.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna go with my little three-eyed guy here. All right.
And I'm gonna go for my Cookie Monster one because he just looks so cute.
Oh,
Monster.
oh, look at that. So,
All right, so here we go. Beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go.
Mmm. Mm-mm-mm.
See, it's just really light.
Well, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did have a little bit later on the beam, but it's a very caramely chocolate, which is probably from the Coke.
It is. It is. I think from the Coke, and that must be what keeps it so like fresh for so long.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And actually, the little candy burst with the eyeballs,
Mm-hmm.
delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Great creation, Shannon.
All right. So for the Beam Me Up, Scotty, I think.
Yeah. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell,
Write a
and
comment, ask us any questions about our awesome costumes, where we got them from. What this is a lot of creative work from her closet.